What is up, book nerds? My name is Hillary and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over all the books I read for the month of January, and I'm so excited because I read 9 books this month. I had 2 5 stars, 2 4 stars, 2 3 stars, no, 4 3 stars, and 1 2 stars. So before we get into this video, don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe with that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know when I am posting. And let's get right on into this wrap up. So the first book I'm going to be talking about is one that I didn't know if I would actually really like, because this was part of a series and this book was in a totally different point of view than the other ones, and that book is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This book was actually really good. I gave it 4 stars, and even though it was in Chaol's point of view, I actually liked knowing what he was going through, especially after the 5th book in this series, I believe that's what it was. And the way that this ended was crazy. I loved all the romance in it, and just seeing him trying to figure out his place since he became paralyzed was amazingly done. And I am excited I read this because I can finally read the last book in this series, and then I have read all of Sarah J. Maas's books so far that she has come out with. The next book I'm going to be talking about is a graphic novel, and it is one that I've been talking about the past couple months with the others in this series, and that book is Lore Olympus Volume 3 by Rachel Smith. This one was probably my favorite out of all of them so far. You see all the struggles that Hades is going through and Persephone is going through, and seeing them come together at work to try and have that work relationship and not make it personal is such a fun book. And I loved all the artwork in this book, and just seeing what Persephone went through is mind blown to me. And I will say check trigger warnings before reading this, because there are some really big trigger warnings in this series. And the next book I got to this month is one that I read actually in 24 hours, and I wish I would have did a vlog for this, but I didn't. And I absolutely love this book. It's by one of my favorite authors, and that book is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This one was such a crazy book, and it's a second chance romance, and I love Christina Lauren's writing because it's so easy to get through, and the characters that they write about are ones that you can really relate to. And I absolutely love the fact that this is told in alternate point of views, and you go back and forth also from then and now in this book. And that is one of the things I love about Christina Lauren's writing, because they do a very good job of that alternate timelines. This next book is one that I listened to on Libby. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I've slowly started making my way through these books that this author has written, and that book is As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. This is part of the Twisted Tale series, and she writes all Disney books but with alternate, like this one says, what if Belle's mother cursed the beast? And I've read her Frozen one, and I think another one, but I really enjoy them because, especially if you're looking for an audiobook to listen to around the house that you don't have to really focus on as much, these ones are awesome. I loved this way of thinking of Beauty and the Beast, and I actually wish this is how the movie would have went instead of the way it does. And I'm glad you get to see Belle's mom in this book, because you don't get that in the movies, and you don't really know much about her in the movies. So I don't know what to say about this next book. I don't know if I loved it or if I didn't like it. I just don't know. And that book is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. This one is a dark academia book, and it has magic in it, and I think what threw me in this book is that it's in so many different points of views, and after a while it kind of gets confusing in that. But there are 6 people who are chosen to go to this academy, and by the end of the 2 years of the internship, they have to choose someone who has to die for them to finish out this internship. And the ending of this just was crazy for me, and I can't wait to read the second one. But I gave this one 3 stars, and yeah, it just kind of confused me at parts. This next one is one that I've been dying to get to for a while, and it has a TV show out on Peacock, and I would really love to watch it, but I don't know when I'm going to. And that book is The Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. This was my first time ever reading this book, and I have to say it's pretty good. I mean, for how old it is and it having vampires in it, and it was such a good read. This is about Lissa and I can't remember her name, but Lissa has this guardian, and they are best friends, and her guardian is to protect her, and they're actually on the run, and she's just trying to keep Lissa safe, but things go wrong at the academy, and some twists and turns happen in there. I do wish that the fighting scene would have lasted longer, but I am really excited to get to the second book in the series and to see what I think about it. I've heard that you have to get through the first 3 books in the series to get, obviously, to get to the last 3, which are the best ones in this series. The next book that I read is one that I absolutely did not like. I gave it 2 stars only because I loved the sister aspect in this book, but everything else I did not like. It has magical realism, and I think that's the problem because I'm not big on magical realism writing. And that book is The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang. This is about these 2 sisters who end up separated when the one's 18 and the other one is 14 because the mom leaves, and you're in the story, you're following the 2 sisters who end up taking a trip to try and find their mom, and all the people that they meet on the way are actually pretty interesting, and they're finding out that they're not the only ones that have magic. But the ending just threw me for this. This was a book that we read for, or that I read for the book club that my mom and my sister-in-law do, and this was a no-go for me just because I just didn't like it. The second to last book that I read this month is one that I read physically and listened to, and I absolutely loved it because it's fantasy, and it was a reread for me, but so much happened in it that I forgot happened the first time I read it. And that book is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. What a crazy ride this one was, because you're following Elias and Leia, who are running from the academy that they escaped from, and they're going to save Leia's brother from this prison, and so much happens along the way. And Elias ends up not doing so well, but you fall in love with so many characters, and then one just totally surprises you out of nowhere, and my jaw just dropped when I got to that part because I forgot. But Helene was my favorite character in this book because you see her battling with so much, and she don't know which side she needs to be on. And she's kind of forced to do things that she don't want to do, but she feels like she has to for her family. And I can't wait to see where she is at in the 3rd book, because that one's going to be crazy, and I am so excited to get to that one. And the last book that I read this month is one of my favorite books that I read, and I have to give this person so much props for being so open with everything that she went through as a kid and with her mom. And that book is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. The stuff that Jennette went through from being a child to an adult, I mean, just breaks my heart, because she was basically manipulated into becoming a child actor, forced into it by her mom, and then her mom kind of put in her head how to start restricting her diet and becoming anorexic. And I can't imagine as a mom doing that to my kid and forcing them to do stuff that they don't want to do. And I gave this one 5 stars. I annotated it, I loved it, and it made me sad, but the ending was so good because she finally found the help that she needed in her life, and seeing that just makes me so happy for her. Alright, well, that is it for this video. If you guys have read any of the books that I have talked about, let me know in the comments down below and what you've thought about them. And like I said at the beginning, don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe and that notification bell, and you'll be the first to know when I am posting. And as always, keep on reading, people. Bye!